Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Poppy Faith Fitness. How are you? Have you had a good week? I hope you've absolutely smashed it. I have just realised filming this video on a swivel chair might not be the best idea because knowing me, I'm going to constantly swivel on it. So sorry if I continue to do that for this whole video. I'm going to really try not to. My friend Surly actually bought me some microphones. So we're going to test it out. Especially because it is currently Storm, whatever it's called. Is it Storm Darren? I don't really know. I've actually just changed it slightly because I think it will sound better over here. I'm just going to try and not move a lot. But yeah, so Sally bought me these especially because obviously for my gym videos or running videos, obviously it just means that my phone can be far away and you guys can still hear me whilst I try and explain to you, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, etc., etc. It is awful outside. It's absolutely awful. So make sure everyone stays safe. Don't go blown away because yeah, it's terrible. I've got my trusty cup of tea with me and I have only just made it, so we're gonna keep tabs throughout this video to see if I actually drink it. And yes, this is the best mug in the entire world. For those who don't know me, Tangled is my favourite movie, my absolute favourite movie in the entire world. I got this mug, I can't remember when I got this mug. Was it a birthday present? I can't remember, but it is just the most stunning mug. I mean, look at it. The handle is a tower. It is a literal tower. I was a literal inch away from getting the tower tattooed on me. I was so close, so close. So yeah, let's see if I can actually drink this tea throughout the video. But anyway, it is stormy, it is rainy. It's December. It's December. It is the 7th of December today. Can't believe it is nearly Christmas. That is absolutely bonkers to me. Absolutely bonkers. But Christmas is my favourite time of year. It's my favourite time of year. I mean, look at my Christmas nails. They've got literal snowflakes on them. I don't know if you can see that. One of the questions actually, someone said, what are your current nails? Or like, what inspire your nails? Honestly, don't know. Just comes to me on the day. These are my actual nails. My nails are this long. Coming from someone who, my nails were terrible when I was younger. I always used to use stick-ons. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but I always bit my nails. Always, always, always. And yeah, gels and acrylics, etc. just changed my life. So they're my current nails. Anyway, I've got a whole mix of questions that I'm really excited to talk about and answer. Some are life related, some are gym related, some are just random. We're going to do a few random ones first, I think, just to get into it. As you can see, I've actually got all of the questions written down. So we got a whole mix and we're just going to get into it. So grab a cup of tea, if you're not a tea drinker, grab a glass of water. Make sure you've hydrated today because I bet you probably haven't drunk enough water today, is the bet I'm going with. And yeah, we're just going to get into it. I'm actually going to set it up. I've got my candle burning here. I really want to put paper next to it. It's not a good idea, is it? The first one is, am I a morning person or a night owl? 100% without a doubt, I'm a morning person. 100%. At my old job, I used to have to get up at 5 in the morning, even after, doing a late the night before. So not getting to sleep until about 11 at night. I'd just get up at 5 in the morning and I'd just be wide awake. I'd just be wide awake, ready to start the day. Obviously, I'd feel a bit rubbish, especially if I hadn't had a lot of sleep the night before. But I'm definitely a morning person. Some nights are weird. For instance, a few weeks ago, we went out in Bristol and I was fine. We literally stayed up until about, must have been, I don't know, 5 in the morning, had a couple hours sleep, got up and then played football the next day, and I was fine. Other days, I can't make it past 10 o'clock. So it's really weird. It comes and goes, but I'm definitely a morning person. A lot of people ask me what time I prefer to work out. I definitely prefer working out in the morning. Whenever I train late at night, I just feel rubbish the next day. It's not even the training at night that's the problem, it's the recovery. I find is so much more delayed. So when I train football on a Wednesday night, I find Thursday is really hard, or I definitely notice I feel the most fatigued on a Thursday. So I'm definitely a morning person. If you go on holiday with me, I'll be up ready to start the day, probably no later than 8. Staying until 8 is a lion, is a lion. So another one, I actually had a few questions as well about what my favorite season was. So obviously we're in winter now. I don't really have a preference, which makes me sound really annoying by saying, oh, I actually quite like all of them. If I had to choose, I love, I do love spring, where the sun's starting to come out, but it's still quite cold. So almost like the end of autumn, beginning of December, like we had it a couple of weeks ago, where the weather was just beautiful, but it's not really hot. So you can wear a hoodie and jacket and jeans and not be sweating your ass off. And you do get that at the end of spring as well. My birthday's in February, so technically I am a winter baby. But I don't know, it's not that I hate winter. It's not that I'm not even a big fan of winter. It's just like in my head, it's just a process. Each season is a process. It's always going to start and it's always going to end. Like, if anything, I just quite like all of them because they each bring different things, different activities, even different moods. I know obviously some people really suffer at winter time, but I think it's just a reminder of impermanence, that nothing stays the same. Everything change. Well, I say everything changes. Things change all the time. I'm actually just going to cross my legs on this chair. Nothing stays the same, and I don't know. I quite like that. I would say my favorite season, if I had really had to choose, sort of gun to my head, would be spring. Otherwise, I quite like all of them. Another question I've been asked is, what is my go-to snack? So I actually eat tons. I eat so much. I'm not really a big meal eater. For instance, I could tell you I eat so much. You'd watch me sit down and say, eat a bowl of spag bowl. That sounds weird, a bowl of spag bowl. And you'd be like, you don't really eat that much. But then an hour later, like I'd have a full plate. And then an hour later, I'd be having another plate. Or I'd be having, I don't know, some crumpets. Or I'd be having some crackers and cheese. And then a couple hours later, I'll have something else. Like, I'm more of a eat a little and often to get my calories up, like, type of vibe. That's kind of my method. That's what I like to go for. My favorite go-to snack is a hard one because I snack on loads of different things. I sometimes snack on nuts, fruits, chocolate. Cereal bars I stay away from. So if I buy any cereal bar, I tend to read the back. And if it's got more than 6 or 7, I mean, even that's a lot, but if it's got more than probably 5 grams of sugar per bar, I won't buy them. You've got to be careful with cereal bars. They seem all good, like a good healthy snack, but loads of them have so much sugar in it. So just be careful with them. Trek bars are quite good. They've also got some protein in there. Yeah, I just tend to snack on honestly loads of different things. I couldn't pin it down to one thing. I'm a very intuitive eater. I will just eat what I fancy. Like this morning, usually I have eggs on toast or with sausages, avocado, something like that. This morning I was like, you know what? I want a bagel. So I literally just had butter on a bagel and some blueberries because that's what I craved. That's what I looked in the fridge and I thought, I want that. So that's what I had, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I don't really have a go-to snack. I just tend to eat a lot, but it is mainly fruits. Or I will have what other people don't deem as snacks as a snack, if that makes sense. So for some people, crumpets would be breakfast. For me, it's a snack. Or at work, I had pasta the other day as like my pre-dinner snack. So I had pasta and pesto at work at about 5 o'clock. And then I came home and I had cotch pie when I finished at about 7:45. So yeah, I'm not a normal snacker is what I'm trying to say. Someone also has asked me, if you had to give one up out of football and the gym, which would it be? That is so hard. That is so hard a question because they bring completely different things to my life. The main thing about football is the progression. I love the progression, the thought that you can just keep going up. Obviously, being realistic, but if you suddenly were the best team in the world or whatever, you could keep going up and get to the Premier League. Like any team can technically do that. So I love that. Whereas in school, I was mad about netball. Netball completely took over. I loved it. Even now, netball really has my heart, but there's no progression in it. You kind of play for a league and you stay in that league forever, unless you go for, trials or blah, blah, blah. But even that, I don't think it's very well supported. I don't think it's very well funded. I don't think it's very well known about the pathways and how to get there. football obviously brings me my family, my second family, my team. I have always been a team player, especially netball does that as well. Growing up, playing netball constantly, always playing team sports. It's all I'm about. And I love people. I love socializing. I am a real people person. So, like, playing football and joining the team that I currently play for changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. It got me out of a really tough situation. They supported me through loads of different things. It's not just a team, it's not just a sport. Whereas the gym is me. Like, the gym is my me time. The gym is what I do for myself. It's how I stay disciplined. It's taught me so much about myself, about other people. Um, yeah, that's a real tough one. I honestly don't know if I could say. I honestly don't know, because the thought of giving either of them up is heartbreaking. If I literally had a gun to my head, oh, I don't know. I don't know. If I had a gun to my head for practical reasons, I'd give up football, because I can realistically, I can stay in the team. I'll do everything else. I'll go support them. I'll go watch them. And football, I can't really do forever, whereas the gym you can do forever. And obviously, football has a much bigger injury risk, I suppose, whereas at least the gym helps with like injury prevention. So if I really had to choose, I think I'd give up football. But as far as I plan to do both for a very long time. Hopefully, I don't. Yeah, that would be the plan. Someone asked me a question asking me if I like podcasts or music. Music, hands down. I'm not really a podcast kind of gal. It has to be a very specific podcast, or if there's a specific guest, or with Whoop, which is my watch brand that I wear, they did a sports podcast. I listened to that for quite a while because my brain is so, I constantly think about loads of different things at once. So if I'm doing an activity, for instance, I know some people listen to podcasts if they're cleaning or tidying the house or cooking. If I do that, the podcast will go in my ears and then like straight back out the other. I have listened to some good podcasts. I do actually quite like Dr. Alex's Stomp podcast. I think he has really good guests and they actually cover really important subjects and a real wide range of subjects. Which leads me on to, someone actually asked me what is my favourite kind of music to work out to. That again just depends on the day, depends on how I'm feeling. I've got loads of different playlists, different like songs that like call to me on different days. For instance, the other day, usually I listen to like rock music or rap music if I'm feeling not down, but if I'm feeling low or low energy and I just can't be bothered. That kind of gives me a kick and like makes me feel more powerful and capable to then do a workout or whatever it may be. But then the other day, nothing was working, not rap, not rock. So I put Disney on. Moana literally got me to the gym the other day. And Tangled, obviously, favourite movie. It really depends. I can't lie, I've actually listened to classical music whilst working out as well. It really worked for one workout. I loved it. And then I went back and tried to listen to classical music the next time, and it just did not work. It did not work. Sticking with a kind of gym workout theme, I get lots of questions about my split, about what I train, when I train it, and why. Again, it's weird. With my training, to other people, it would seem so unstructured. But to me, because all of the knowledge is in my head, especially where I'm doing a PT qualification, I am structured in my routine in the sense of I do full body workouts, front and back, 4 times a week. So each one twice a week. So I'm structured in that sense. But the actual exercises that I do, I tend to stay consistent with compound movements, the sort of specific exercises that I do, and adjusting the weight, increasing the weight over time, etc. But other times I go, you know what, because of my knowledge and my research, I know so many different exercises that work different muscle groups. So the way my full bodies are split are into front and back, like I said. So front, the muscle groups are shoulders, chest, biceps, and quads. And then a back day is obviously your back, triceps, glutes, hamstrings. Oh my God, I just malfunctioned then. Glutes, hamstrings, calves. Don't really train for aesthetics. I don't train for the way I look. I don't train to make my body look a certain way. I solely train for how it makes me feel, the progression of it, the health benefits of it, and the performance side, and just it makes me stronger and fitter so I can perform better. If you watch my previous video, most of the time I have Mondays and Saturdays as my rest day. Then I will gym and go for a run on a Tuesday. I will gym and I have football training on a Wednesday, and then I'll gym Thursday, and then I'll gym Friday with a run. And then Saturday will be a rest day. And then Sunday will be a football match, which completely wipes me out. So I can never train on a Monday. I've tried it. I tried training on a Monday and it just didn't work. I was so fatigued for then the rest of the week. My recovery was delayed. Yeah, it was just not it, really. Also, we're doing good, guys. We're actually halfway through. It is getting cold. Like, it is like just on the verge of lukewarm. But we're over halfway through. I think that's quite good. The next question someone asked me was my holiday plans or my travel plans for next year. So as you can see from my Instagram, if you go over and follow me on Instagram, it's poppyfaithfitness_. You'll see I have been on holiday quite a few times this year. I went to Lisbon in January. I went to Mallorca in May. I went to Greece in June. So we went to Kefalonia and Scala. And then we went to Skiathos and Skopelos in Greece as well in August. And then I haven't actually got any plans for the rest of this year, but I have already booked a trip to Amsterdam with one of my best friends, Lily. We're going to Amsterdam in January. And then the plan is to just go somewhere like quite a lot. So I'm hopefully planning a girls' holiday with 3 of my other best friends, Tev, Neve and Hattie. We're going to have a girls' holiday next year. Me and Hattie keep persuading or trying to persuade the other 2 to go to Benidorm. They're not having it. So we'll see where we end up. Me and 3 other of my friends are booking to go to Greece. And then me and Tev, my best friend, who I've been on holiday quite a lot with this year. We have some things in the cards. We've spoken about different things. She's actually going to Japan in February. We'll probably do another Greek holiday next year. We've spoken about Italy. We've spoken about Australia. Who knows? I am obsessed with opportunity. I love not like planning. I wouldn't really say I'm a good planner, but just I don't know, I'm just obsessed with the ability to have opportunity. Does that make sense? The thought of being able to book places, going different places, seeing different things, but in my head. So I tried to go traveling a couple of years ago in the traditional sense, I guess, where you just up and leave everything. You go for like a year and a half, 2 years, don't work. You literally travel continuously around different places, and did not like that at all. So now I'm 22, nearly 23, and I know that I want to explore the world. Oh my God, yes, I do. But little bits at a time, and I want to come home afterwards. Does that make sense? Like, I'm so excited to go away, but knowing that I've got a job to come back to, knowing that I can just suddenly fit back into my routine, the gym, yeah, that works for me. But that was really hard. That was a really heartbreaking time to go through, to realize all of that. Don't feel pressured to travel. Don't feel pressured to do it in a certain way. They're kind of my plans for next year. They're loose, but there's lots of ideas going around with lots of different people. It's just going to be really exciting. I actually, for this year, so I made this mood board in January, and for this year I put loads of photos of Greece on there, and we literally went around Greece. Someone asked who was my biggest inspiration. So I have 3. First one obviously is like my mum and my sisters and like my dad, my close family. Like a no-brainer. I don't really feel like I need to go into that. They're the people I'm closest to, etc., etc. But my 2 main inspirations, literally even talking about it or talking about them, like inspires me now, even just thinking about it. So my first one, my literal ride or die, is Chrissy Chella. She is the owner of the activewear brand that I am literally obsessed with, that I wear all the time, that I genuinely think is the best clothing brand in the world, let alone the best activewear brand in the world, which is Honor Active. So she is the owner of that, or like the co-owner. She's now the creative director. I just can't even describe how I feel about her. Everything she does, everything she posts, the way she is, the way she presents herself, the way she connects with her audience. She's actually now a new mum. The main thing is her encouragement for exercise. So one of my dreams is to go into schools and speak to young girls and encourage them to move their bodies in a really healthy way. Things like eating disorder prevention and just all of that educational side, going into schools and just presenting and educating young girls on sort of, I don't really know how to describe it, but where moving your body and the millions of different types of exercises you can do, you don't have to fit into a certain way. It doesn't have to be running or gym. You can do anything. You can just stretch, you can walk, just any healthy movement of your body, and doing it for the right reasons, and doing it because it makes you feel good, because it encourages you to be outside, it encourages you to connect with other people. The benefits are just endless, and I want to educate especially young girls. Luckily, I was sporty and I enjoyed sport, or the kind of sport that was encouraged for us to do at school. For instance, I was captain of the netball team. I loved netball. I loved that sport. So I was really lucky that that sort of started my sports journey. Whereas if I hadn't liked netball or the traditional sports we did in PE, I don't know where I'd be. I think I would have loved for someone to have come in and said, by the way, this, this is what you can do with exercise. This is what you're told about exercise. This is what you can actually do with it. So the fact that she does that and she gives away free activewear for girls in poverty, oh my God, she's just incredible. Sorry, I've gone on a bit of a rant. I really love Chrissy Chella. My second inspiration is more of an athletic point of view, and her name is Lucy Davis, or Lucy Davis Fit, as she is on Instagram. She's just mental. She's absolutely fucking mental. She is an athlete. She is a beast. She's a hybrid athlete. Today, I think actually right now, she's doing her singles Hyrox Pro event. So a few weeks ago, she actually set a world record. She set a world record for single like women's Hyrox. She's just incredible. If you don't know her, go check her out, because the stuff she's doing now, she's just smashing it. She is smashing it. She's unreal. She's absolutely unreal. So they are definitely my two biggest inspirations. I'm actually just going to end on two questions. So getting into the first one is I get asked all the time how I stay motivated. How I stay motivated to get to the gym when I really don't feel like it. How do I stay motivated to push myself out for football training at night in the pissing rain when it's cold and like no part of my body wants to be there? How do I stay motivated to get out the house when I can just stay inside and be snuggly and warm and not have to push through anything hard? Honestly, it's weird now, because I know some people think going to the gym or any type of exercise can be a bit of a chore, but I think because my perspective of exercise and movement of the body is so positive, like there's just so much positivity around it, and I think my outlook on it is so wide. One thing I do is I constantly think that it sounds a bit morbid or it sounds a bit horrible, but there are people who have died at my age who can no longer move their bodies. There are people who have been debilitated, they've been in an accident, they're paralyzed, they cannot move. I do think about that quite a lot when I'm feeling unmotivated or low in energy. I think, come on, people are literally lying in a hospital bed wishing they had the opportunities that you do. That's definitely a big one for me. Another one is I could check in with myself and I say, are you being lazy? Are you just like feeling like you can't be bothered to get out the house? Or are you genuinely so fatigued you feel like you cannot move your body in that way? 98% of the time it is I just can't really be bothered. So as soon, I don't know, I'm just so disciplined. As soon as I clock that I just can't be bothered, I'm like, well, fucking hell, what are you doing? Get to the gym. Like that's not good enough that you can't be bothered. Like in my head, I'm like, just do it. Just do it. And then if I start to come up with excuses, if I start to, my thoughts run wild, I literally bring it back. I bring it back to just do it. Just fucking do it. Just do it. And it works. I know that obviously doesn't work for some people, but thinking about that, just doing it, and the way I view exercise, it's such a privilege. It is such a privilege and an honor to be able to move your body in that way. and I am so aware that it's not guaranteed. So my training at the moment, all it takes is a bad tackle at football, walking down the street or tripping up on a curb. All it takes is for me to have a sprained ankle or a broken wrist or anything. You have no idea what is around the corner. So why aren't you using the opportunity to move your body now? Why aren't you taking advantage of having a healthy body that you can love and nurture and make stronger? Why wouldn't you do it? That's my why. So if that helps you, that's great. And the biggest turning point that I heard a phrase, it was motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. It's like a bad boyfriend. Like, you wouldn't stay with someone who comes and goes and only gives some effort, which is what motivation does. Whereas if you stay disciplined, it's going to be there all the time. Another phrase that I like is, it's easy to be motivated when things are good. When you're feeling good, when you're at that stage in your cycle where you're ready to go, you're ovulating, etc. It's easy to be motivated when things are good, which is where discipline comes in, because if things are hard, just be fucking disciplined and still do it through the hard times, because you're just going to get so much stronger and be a better version of yourself, etc. Okay, and the last one I'm going to finish on is, someone said, what advice would you give 16-year-old Poppy? Which is a tough one, because what I've been through for the past 6 years, a lot of people don't really know about. But there's absolutely no way I could have seen any of it coming, obviously. But there's not one part of me that regrets anything. There's not one part of me that would do anything differently, because it's led me to where I am now. It's led me to the passions that I have now, the work, the drive, the determination that I have now, which I'm so grateful for. So it's a really tough one, especially when I was 16. I feel like I just had no idea, really, not even about the world, just, I don't know. I think the main thing I'd give to me when I was 16 is, which I feel like I did it anyway, but I definitely had a lot of like rocky bumps in the road, a lot of self doubt. I think it would literally just be yourself, which sounds so generic, but especially through school, you feel like, with the friends that you're speaking to, the friendship groups that you're in, the people that you're interested in, dating, whatever it may be, just never ever change for anyone, and be really confident in who you are, and be confident that if you stay true to yourself, you're then going to find people who love you for that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you had people around you who love you for a fake version of yourself, they're not your people. I'm very lucky that I found my people, and that is, I say, forever changing. Hopefully I never lose any of my people, but you're constantly meeting new people, making new connections. I think a big one would be, just make as many connections as you can, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and yeah, never let bitchiness or other people's jealousy or their self-doubt or their insecurity and their projection onto you affect you as a person, and yeah, affect you negatively, is probably what I'd say. I'm going to end this video here. I have not drunk a single drop since I last showed you. But we are over halfway, so I'm probably going to go put it in the microwave. But I hope you all have a lovely week. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want another one or a part 2 down the road, because at the end of the day, there are so many questions that I can answer, that I would love to answer. Let me know if any questions have come up that you've thought about by me answering other people's. And yeah, it's just like having a chat with you, isn't it? It's like, I don't know, just discussing a load of random shit. So I hope you've enjoyed. Have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next one.